Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Ethereum. We're going to do a full update, right? So we'll talk about the technicals mostly because I think the technicals at this point of time are most interesting and also most important to talk about, but it's good to understand the market context, right? So the fundamentals around the crypto market, in my opinion, are still very steady, right? So then we're mostly talking about traditional financial metrics, which also influence crypto, of course. But what is going on is some pretty aggressive selling from Bitcoin, with the highest volume selling we've seen since the 15th of July. But the 15th of July was rare, right? So before that, it's been a while since we've seen selling like this, which is a reason, I think, to at least be slightly cautious of what's going on right now. But I'm probably going to tell you something different than what you're expecting from Ethereum. So let's get right into it. Now, first of all, yesterday, beautiful reclaim right here of 3,640. Able to break above that over the course of today, this morning, with all the selling pressure, which obviously also influences Ethereum. We dropped down below that, but I care less about that level right now. It seems to me more so that Ethereum is trying to form some sort of a new balance, and that new balance is mostly right here. If it forms, my internet is very bad this morning, which is not great, but still. But it's mostly trying to form some new balance right here. I would argue on top of 30. Can I? No, this is not the. I don't think that's the right way to set up the balance. But it seems like we're forming some sort of a well, it still creates that, but it seems like we're trying to form some sort of a balance right here on top of 3,620, and so therefore it no longer matters that much to reclaim above a level to keep the uptrend. I think it's fair to say, if you take a look at the 4-hour time frame, if you take a look at the 12-hour time frame, that we have lost some momentum and that we are consolidating, which is actually fine, right? Because if you take a look at this chart for Ethereum, this is very bullish, right? If you look at the 12-hour time frame, if you look at the daily time frame, this is bullish. We've had a lot of momentum. There's a lot of imbalances to the downside, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But to me, it still seems inevitable that we're going up to $4,000 and that we have a good chance to break above that as well. Ethereum has also been incredibly resilient. Okay, Bitcoin, by the way, is also bouncing quite nicely right here, as you can see. It's not bad, but outside of that, Ethereum has been super resilient. Like, if you compare to Bitcoin, which the best way to do that is to look at ETH BTC. ETH BTC is still respecting the uptrend on the 4-hour time frame. So I think a lot of people right now are kind of doomsaying that we're going to crash. And I think you should be ready for a pullback, right? I mean, if we get some bad news and there's obviously something going on in the markets, like, can we get a deeper pullback? Yes, but I mean, if Ethereum pulls back into this level right here at 3,300 and 3,200, which is the main level I'm looking at for a potential pullback, then on the higher time frames, we're fine. And we're still trending up. And maybe we're consolidating a bit, but that's it. And honestly, I would keep your eyes on Bitcoin. Bitcoin matters a lot still for the price of Ethereum. And if Bitcoin is able to get some sort of a strong bounce right here and we reclaim 116.7, I think Ethereum is just going to continue rallying from here into the 4,000s without pulling back. So no, I'm actually still, regardless of what's going on right now, I'm actually still very bullish on Ethereum. I'm just not 100% certain about whether we're going to pull back first or not. I would actually say, and this is probably not something a lot of people are saying right now, I would actually say it's more likely that we're just going to remain relatively stable here. And just continue up to $4,000, and that we're not going to get a pullback first. I think a lot of people are expecting a pullback, and that could be one of the key reasons why we're not going to get one. And I don't expect Bitcoin to drop down below this level here at 113.7, or at least a spike down lower possibility, but break down below it. I don't expect. So if Bitcoin drops down into that, ETH BTC is strong. Will Ethereum drop down into 3,300? Probably not. So I'm actually quite bullish. I'm fairly cautious right now in the markets because of all the things going on. But if I just tell you what I see, I have to be bullish on Ethereum right here. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully it was I mean. I like making videos like this because it's just interesting to talk about, in my opinion. So hopefully it was valuable for all of you as well. But for now, that's it. So have a great weekend in advance. Take care and bye.